Hi, welcome to Astro Babble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology.
And I'm Linda from Scallywag Astrology.
And today we are going to be talking about the horoscopes for the year ahead for the rising sign of Virgo and also the transits that you'll be facing.
Yep. And we recommend that this is for Virgo ascendants. If you don't know your ascendant sign, you can reach out to me or Donna, or you can go somewhere like astro.com and find out your ascendant sign. What you'll need to know is your time, date, and place of birth. If you don't understand why you should be reading or listening to your ascendant sign, we did do a video that explains why it's much more practical and just makes more sense to listen to your ascendant sign. And we'll put a link to that. But let's go and have a look at what to expect.
Okay. And the first planet we will be addressing is going to be Mercury and its travel through for your houses for this year in 2024. It's going to squeak out 4 retrograde periods only because it's going to end its first retrograde period January 1st in 2024 in Sagittarius. So that's how it gets the 4. Usually it's about 3. And it's going to station retrograde December 13th back in 2023 and then end it January 1st. And that's going to be traveling over your 5th and 4th houses. So those houses are going to have things to do with, you might have some mishaps in your house of fun and excitement, and as well as your parents' house or lineage.
Yes. And then we have another Mercury retrograde from the 1st of April to the 25th of April, 2024 in Aries. This will be in your 8th house. The 8th house is shared finances and resources. So during this time, if you are looking to pool your resources with somebody, if you're going into business with somebody, or you and a romantic partner are opening a shared bank account or something, there may be some little snafus to do with that. Maybe, they put your name wrong on the account, not necessarily your partner. It could be the bank that does it. It could be something to do with a loan or debt. It could be you asked for this amount and the amount's wrong. You might have asked for a loan for 10,000 and it's only 8 or it's 20 or something. Or you might have expected that you're taking out a mortgage for, say, 25 years, but they've done it for 15 or something. So the mortgage payments are much higher. So you need to make sure, if you're signing any agreements, that you are, paying attention and really, looking over the contract before you sign it. Yeah, just mishaps, miscommunications, confusion. It could be you need to go back to sign something because you didn't sign on page 16 or something. So yeah, it's usually nothing major. It's just setbacks, or you're buying something and it might be a mortgage or something, but you've got to wait, or there's just some delay or setback. It's going to take longer than you expect.
Yeah, because Mercury is in charge of commerce as well as measurements and details and travel. So, that's where when it goes when Mercury goes retrograde, those are the areas of your life where it can disrupt. So, it's for sure signing things because it's in charge of messages as well. It's also going to station retrograde August 4th. That's going to be its 3rd retrograde period, August 4th. And it's going to station direct on August 28th in Leo. So that's going to cover, 2 houses, the first and the second, or first and 12th house. So, those are houses where, it's things that can undo you, and also that have something that related to you yourself, because that the first house is the house of self. So that's where the Mercury is going to be retrograding. So things can end up not going according to plan when it retrogrades in those 2 houses.
particularly the beginning of that retrograde, not a good time to go for a brand new look because the first house is our appearance. Good time to research, but not necessarily implement it at that time. Same with buying, something that you wouldn't normally wear. Maybe, think on it for, 3 or 4 weeks. And the last retrograde for 2024 will be from the 25th of November until the 15th of December in Sagittarius, which is your 4th house. 4th house is our family, most particularly our parents. So could be matters to do with your parents. Maybe there's miscommunications with your parents regarding something. Could be to do with your home or living situation. It could be something to do with your heritage or real estate matters. So again, it could be, make sure you know what you're signing if you are signing documents for, moving in somewhere, whether that's renting or, taking out a mortgage or buying. Yeah, just mix-ups, communications. Yeah, Mercury, it's usually niggly things, just things that just annoying and you have to go back and review them.
Not really life-changing, but story-changing. And then the next planet is going to be Venus in her ingresses. And Venus is one of the benefic planets. She is in charge of art and beauty and love, and the social things that we do. So she'll be moving into your 5th house of Capricorn on January 23rd, and she'll be there until February 16th. And this is the house. The 5th house is the house where you might, as of January 23rd, you might want to start doing things that have something to do with either something that you do for fun, like art, maybe go to an art museum around this time. This is kind of what she would be driving you to do.
And from February 16th to March 11th, Venus will be in Aquarius in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house of illness. It's also those that we work with, those that work for us, and pets. So this could be just a really nice time with those that you work with or with employees. Because Venus brings, I can't say that word, Venus brings harmony and, just it's a lightness and it's just more enjoyable. It's sociable. Maybe you're socializing with employees or those that you work with at this time. This also includes those that serve others. So this includes people like doctors, nurses, fire personnel, police officers. So there could be a romance with somebody that works in some sort of profession like that. It could be a romance with somebody who works with you or even an employee or somebody that works for you. And that can include somebody like a tradesperson or somebody that comes in to do something for you on a short-term basis. It could be people that report to you in a workplace. You might not necessarily employ them, but you might be in a position of some authority to them. Yeah, or it could be to do with pets. It could be, maybe you've got this cat or this dog and you show it and, it does well at the events then, or maybe it's just a really enjoyable time with pets at that time. Regarding health matters, Venus is benefic, so hopefully it would hopefully maybe ease if you are going through something that's painful. Maybe there's a lessening of pain or whatever issue you're dealing with the condition at that time, hopefully. I'm not a medical astrologer though, so. But, Venus, whatever house it's in, does tend to bring some sort of assistance or help or usually, something nice.
That would be lovely. And on March 11th, Pisces, or Venus is going to move into the sign of Pisces. That's the 7th house if you are a Virgo rising. And when Venus moves into Pisces, she's exalted in this house. So she has some dignity and can get things done. So if the seventh house is the house of the other person. So you should get some benefic quality, as around the subject of one other person, whether it's a spouse or an appointment that you might have with somebody. This is a good time for, seeing some more social aspects or good qualities around the seventh house issues of the other person.
Very nice. Yeah. Particularly as it's exalted in that sign. Really nice.
Mhm. Yes.
From April 4th to April 29th, Venus will be in Aries. Venus is in detriment in this sign. Aries is ruled by Mars. He's kind of the complete opposite of Venus. So she's not always the most comfortable here, but she's still Venus. She's still benefic, and she does tend to bring good things. In the 8th house, this is other people's money. So you might benefit in some way. This could be through your partner, because if you do have a romantic or business partner, this is their house of their personal finances and possessions. So maybe you've got a significant other and they've come into a bit of money and they're, spending it on you, or maybe they didn't come into any extra money. Maybe they're just going to spend a little bit extra on you anyway, which would be nice. Or you might benefit through taxes, insurance, financial agreements, or even an inheritance. So there should be some benefit through other people's money in some way.
Very nice. Definitely to look forward to. And April 29th is definitely a time to look forward to when Venus moves into that Taurus house. That's your ninth house. And this is the house she rules. So in the ninth house, you're going to have a benefit around a publishing or a legal matter, or as well as if we're looking for a particular esoteric book and you finally found it or were able to get your hands on it. This is going to be a benefit in any of those subjects where it's the higher education, it's the higher learning as well for and this will be when Venus moves into your ninth house, April 29th. This is when you could very well see a benefic aspect in that house.
Yeah. And for some people, if you're looking for romance, maybe whoever you come across or are involved with at that time might be from a different culture or a different country or different religion, because it's the house of the other. From May 23rd to June 17th, Venus will be in Gemini, which is quite a fun sign. It's in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So this is, you could benefit at work. Your relationship with those that you work with is likely to be more harmonious. People are likely to kind of see you in a good light. You probably come across as charming. You get along well with, those that you come across in your workday. For some, it could be romance with somebody you work with, maybe even a boss or an employer, because it's the house of authorities. This could also be you're getting married, because this is a house of, it's a very visible house. So, when you're getting married or getting some attention for some reason, it's quite often there. There's usually planets there. This could be you're being honored or rewarded in some way. Maybe you did something and now is when that honor or reward is being recognized.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And when it comes to June 17th, she'll be moving into the house of Cancer, or the sign of Cancer, in your 11th house. And this is the house of groups and associations, as well as those people who support you, your friends. So this would be a benefic in around those subjects of, if you, started a group and, you were finally able to, get into a group. This would be a benefic group to get into, no matter what you're starting with any group.
Also the house of friends and organizations and those that can assist you. So This could be a mentor as well, somebody that can help you assist with the 10th house matters of career and public reputation. Or it could be just a romance with somebody you know through groups or friends. From July 11th to the 4th of August, Venus will be in Leo in your 12th house, which is a much more hidden and secretive house. If you are involved in a romance at this time, it may be much more behind the scenes. It could be a little bit secret. It may be that you are doing something artistic or something behind the scenes, because even though when we think of Venus, we often think of romance, it's also art and beauty and harmony and socializing. It could be a time when you take yourself out of that socializing scene. Maybe you need to rest and just, not be as social. Maybe you're doing things that, are not as on the social scene. I'm also thinking it's your 12th house if you're undoing those. So maybe you're enjoying things that aren't as good for you. But look, Venus is a benefic. She tends to bring good things. So yeah, whatever you're enjoying, because Venus is what brings us joy, maybe just a little bit more secretive or hidden at this time. And perhaps for some, maybe not really in your best interest.
Yeah. And then on August 4th, Venus will be moving into Virgo, the sign of Virgo, and that's going to be in your first house. And in Virgo, Venus is in fall here, so she does not have as many tools as she normally would have in other signs. But she's still, like Linda said, she's still a benefic planet, so she's still going to give you benefit, in your first house of self. So this is the house where, you might be, deciding on a wardrobe or a new hairstyle. This will still be good. It'll just not be as good as it could be if it were like any other year when she moves into your first house. But it'll still be a benefic. It'll still be a good aspect. You will still receive something good personally.
Yeah. And from August 29th to the 22nd of September, Venus will be in Libra, which is one of her signs. So as Donna was saying, when she's in Virgo, she's in fall, but she gains a lot of dignity here. She's kind of got all the tools she needs. And it's in your second house of your personal finances and resources, which, nice house. You may benefit through a bonus at work because this is the house of your income. You may just, be buying beautiful objects at this time. Yeah, this is nice house. If you do buy something, it might be beautiful, but also very practical. It might be something that supports you in some way. It may not be necessarily like it's going to earn you income, but maybe it's something that, you find very useful as a resource. So yeah, nice house to have Venus traveling through during that time.
Very nice. And then she's gonna move into a house September 22nd, not into her favorite place to be. She's gonna be in Scorpio. That's your third house. And it's not that she doesn't like the third house, it's that she doesn't like Scorpio. she's in detriment here, and she doesn't have all the tools. She doesn't have any of her tools that she's used to using, but she does have the tools that Mars will assist her with. So, this might be more of a fighting for what she wants, but this will still be a benefic in the third house. This might have something to do with your family, your like your brothers and sisters, your cousins, as well as aunts and uncles. This could be, a time where you might even get a new car. This is still going to be a benefic, but it's not going to be as dazzling or as bright as it is she's capable of being. But this is still a benefic, and you will still receive, whether it's good messages about, your family, or some kind of transportation issue or language issue. This is still going to be a benefit for sure, because she is a benefic planet.
Yeah. And from October 17th to November 11th, Venus is going to be in Sagittarius, which is your fourth house. The fourth house is your family, most particularly your parents. So this may be something going on with your parents. Your relationship with them may be, much more harmonious at this time, or it might be that they're involved with a Venusian topic, beauty, art, relationship. It's also the house of your home and living situation. So maybe you're actually beautifying it in some way, whether that's a full-on redecoration or whether that's just buying some throw pillows or something nice to put on the wall or whatever. Yeah, it's nice. You may benefit through parents. Maybe parents, gift you something nice at this time. But yeah, just a nice time. You may be more interested in socializing at home at this time too.
I like that. And then on November 11th, Venus will be moving into Capricorn, your fifth house. And, she doesn't have dignity in Capricorn, like she doesn't rule Capricorn, but she does have joy in her fifth house. So she's going to be, this is the fifth house of where you create. It could be a good relationship with your children. As something positive could happen around your children, or it could, happen with an event. This is also your house of hobbies and what you do for fun. This could, end up being a romantic uh, uh event that might happen. But this is that house where you have fun. This is your hobbies, whether it's a hockey game or a basketball game or a concert, uh going to a museum. These are all places that you would have fun. And this is Venus. She's a benefic, so she's going to be right there helping you have fun in your fifth house come November 11th.
Very nice. And then from December 7th, Venus is moving into Aquarius, which is your sixth house. Sixth house is illness, pets, and those that work for us or those that we work with. So there could be romance to do with somebody who you work with or somebody who works for you. Could be romance or something similar with somebody who serves others. That could be somebody who's like a first responder or a doctor or a nurse, something similar like that. Could be some benefit that comes through an illness. Maybe, you've been sick and you go to the doctor and you think, it's just a flu, but they find out, oh, no, this has happened. And but now that we know this is here, we can deal with it. Yeah. Oh, it could be something to do with pets, maybe just pets are behaving and it's an enjoyable time. Yeah. The sixth house is a little bit more, it's one of the more difficult houses, but as Donna and I have been saying, Venus is a benefic. In Aquarius, it does tend to be a little bit offbeat. You might be attracted to something that's a little bit different. Maybe at this time, if you are looking for a new pet, you're looking for something that's not like your traditional tabby or, a German Shepherd. Maybe you're looking for something a little bit more exotic.
A lizard.
Maybe.
And then the next planet we're going to be talking about is Mars. And Mars is known for separation and accidents and not thinking things through and doing things in haste. And it also has a lot to do with leadership as well. So Mars can have the two different sides. But when Mars ingresses into your house, this would be a good day to journal. So, grab a snapshot of this list that Linda has made up and start journaling on these days, because Mars can be quite impactful. It's one of the malefic planets. There are two out there, and we all have to deal with all of them. None of the planets for any one of us, even the most what you would think the most wonderful life living person has. Mars does not step out of the universe for any one of us. We all have to have Mars and Saturn in our chart. So, with that going on, Mars will be moving into the on January 4th will be moving into Capricorn, your fifth house. And this could have a lot to do with separation as around the subjects of the things that you create. This could be separation. Maybe your kid is moving to, a new school for college. This could be, you decided you're not gonna, or you're trying to do a ceramic bowl and it breaks. This would be something, the things that you create. Mars could show up either in a malefic way as far as breaking things, or showing leadership, telling your kids, we're gonna go through the woods and we're gonna get out the other side and we're gonna be fine. So this is that leadership that Mars is capable of doing, and this will show up around January 4th.
With Mars in the fifth, I always like to kind of warn people too that, with your children, they may be a little bit more accident prone at this time too, just because Mars could be accidents. Mars in Capricorn is strong though, it's exalted there, so hopefully it will be acting good. With all these things, if you can put Mars to work, I think that's really helpful too, because Mars is action as well. It's energy. It's pure energy. So you need to just direct it if you can. It's not always possible. And sometimes it's not you that is aggressive or, cutting and, carrying on. Sometimes it's other people that are doing that. And that can be hard to avoid sometimes. But from February 13th to March 22nd, Mars will be in Aquarius, which is your sixth house. The sixth house is illness. It's those that work for us. It's those that we work with. And it's also pets and those that serve others. That can include careers or occupations such as doctors, nurses, fire personnel, police officers, etc. So there could be aggression to do with those in those professions, hopefully not. It could be, when it comes to illness, Mars is associated with cutting art. There could be, possibly an increased likelihood of cutting yourself at this time. So maybe, be a little bit more careful about sharp knives or just any activity that might kind of injure you. Pets may be a little bit more aggressive at this time, particularly dogs. Dogs are signified by Mars. Yeah, and just those that you work with, they may be a little bit more edgy, a little bit more irritable, or you might be more irritable with them. But look, if you can put this into a more active mode, like that dog may be a little bit more aggressive because it needs to be exercised more. Maybe taking it out for a walk more often might actually help with that. Maybe, that's still a Martian use of that energy, going out for a walk or a jog or a run or whatever. It's kind of one way that you may be able to mitigate those energies. Or if you can do something more active with the workplace, if that's the case.
I like that.
And also with the illness, not only cuts and that, but maybe inflammation. You may be more prone to, doing something that causes a inflammation reaction.
On March 22nd, Mars will be moving into Pisces, your seventh house. And the seventh house is the house of the other. And this could be a time when you might have a lot of drive to do something with with one other person. This would be a great, as Linda was saying, to utilize that martial energy to do action. So go out to for a walk with your partner, which would be a great use of it. But this can also be a time where there's separation between you and another partner, or you split off from your a committed relationship. This could be when that shows up on March 22nd.
And from April 30th to the 8th of June, Mars will be in Aries. Excuse me. Mars rules Aries, so Mars is strong in this house. The 8th house is shared finances and resources, so there could be fights and irritation and bickering regarding shared finances and resources. There may be drama to do with taxes and insurance or loans and debts. There's not really a lot you can do actively, I don't think, regarding these matters. Look, Mars is in Aries, it's strong. You are probably more likely to have issues with this if you are a day chart, if you're born during the day, because Mars is the malefic contrary to sect for those people. It tends to be their most malefic planet. So yeah, look, just expect there's likely to be a little bit of aggression or just irritation, fights. As Donna says, Mars is cutting, so there could be, maybe this is a time when you are actually dissolving a joint financial agreement, perhaps, or there's arguments over how you split that money, or, just, yeah. In this case, it's kind of hard because it's not really about people, it's about shared finance. It's about other people's money. I suppose in some ways this could be your partner's money, in which case I suppose trying to be more active with them may help mitigate that a little bit. But yeah, look, I think it's just, how long is this? Oh, it's about a month, and so about 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, you're going to have just kind of, and it doesn't mean that the whole 6-week period is going to be horrible. It's just, if you're going to have drama with shared finances and resources, it's most likely to happen between April 30th and the June 8th period.
This is the sign that he rules, so
Yeah.
hopefully he will act in a more a nicer manner.
Well, yeah, they tend to behave better in their own signs.
So if when June 8th comes around, Mars will be moving into Taurus, the sign of Taurus, and that's going to be in your 9th house. And this could be a time when you decide to maybe quit school if you are of college age, and this, because this is upper education, this isn't the lower education. This is also, this could be a time where it has to do with legal matters as well. So this could be law. This could be a time where, there's a lot of disputes around the law or publishing. As far as the esoteric subjects as well, Mars rule, or this will be in that house, and you might either decide to break away from those things or argue any one of those subject matters. This could also be other people, foreigners, and when Mars goes into Taurus, this is not a house where he's comfortable in at all. So it is a malefic, and I don't think that it's going to be that malefic in this house. But it does have that, those malefic qualities of severing or breaking or stopping or uh accidents as well. So it's that kind of house where, and that kind of energy. Also leadership. If you are, leading an astrology group, this would be a good utilization of Mars energy.
And from July 20th to September 4th, Mars will be in Gemini in your 10th house. This is your house of career and public reputation. So a good use of this energy would be drive and ambition, working hard at your career. You may have a little bit more difficulty with bosses or authority figures at this time. Yeah, you may be a little bit more aggressive than you realize at work. So you may want to watch your tone and how you talk to those that you work with, whether that's clients or colleagues or authority figures. Yeah, but look, it I think of Mars very active, energy, kind of physical, but it doesn't have to be physical work, working hard and, subliminating that energy into mental work, because I mean this is in Gemini too, so it's got that Mercury, which is thinking, communications and all that. So this is great for planning and communications. You may be a little bit, it's not going to be charming necessarily, but maybe it's going to be to the point, and just try and, this is a great time to throw yourself into career or whatever you're trying to achieve. Um, Great for working towards, if you're looking for honors and rewards, great time to be actually putting that energy and drive and ambition into achieving those aims. That's how I would try to mitigate that.
Very nice. That sounds helpful. And then September 4th, Mars is going to move into Cancer, the sign of Cancer, and that's going to be your 11th house. This is the house of friends, groups, associations, and your hopes and dreams. Mars is more emotional in this sign, and this could manifest as, us, changing a group, and you no longer want to, play volleyball, or this is also your friends and associations. So you might end up breaking off a friendship with somebody. This could also manifest as you know this is that drive and that leadership. You might decide, hey, let's start a volleyball group and play. So
Yeah.
this is, you have the free will. You can use the energies as positive or negative, and this is a planet of action. So, starting a group would be a good manifestation of this.
Yeah, yeah. From November 3rd, Mars will be in Leo in your 12th house, which is your house of your undoing. It's places of confinement like prisons and hospitals, and places of retreat. You need to watch your temper, I think, at this time. Mars is going to retrograde in this sign as well. So you're going to go back over anything that you do, and it's going to go back into the 11th house as well. But look, Mars, which is a malefic, it's not particularly powerful in Leo. It's not in detriment or fall, but it's also not exalted or in one of its own signs. You need to watch your temper. Martian activities may, what's the word? Backfire on you. You don't want to lose something or someone because you're too aggressive or too Martian.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, because Mars is only going to go through the zodiac, about half of the zodiac. It takes 2 years to go through the whole zodiac and hit all the signs. So, it's one of the slower planets, and it is going to station retrograde at 6 degrees of Leo, 10 minutes on December 6th. And then so that's going to be it's going to station retrograde in your 12th house, and then it's going to move back into your 11th house on February 23rd at 17 degrees Cancer. And so it's going to be going over those two houses of yours, the 12th and the 11th. And those are the houses where it's your groups and associations might be changing and things that will undo you. So these are those two houses, and with Mars in the house that will undo you is definitely, you want to keep a mental note that this could happen if you're a Virgo rising, that something that or that you might do around the retrograde time, around December, February, at the end of this year, not this February, and so it would be at the end of the year. It could end up undoing you.
Yeah, the fact that it's going to retrograde back into the 11th house as well makes me wonder if, like, issues that came up around groups, friends, and organizations are going to come back to bite them in some way. You know, those two houses are linked for some reason, and it could be two separate events, or it could be all rolled up into one. So, you know, the retrograde shadow period is from the 5th of October. So, yeah, from the 5th of October, you could start to have some issues. And yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what our Virgo ascendants are dealing with come, say, November, December, what's happening, what they're having to go back over, because when a planet retrogrades, it's going back over old ground. And for Virgo ascendants, it's your undoing, you know, what trips you up, and groups, friends, and organizations. So it will be very interesting.
And once it stations direct on February 23rd, we're not going to be out of the clear until about May 2nd when it gets out of that shadow period, because it's going to be in a shadow period from October 5th to May 2nd. So keep those dates in mind if you're a Virgo rising. This is when those things could pop up about, you know, doing.
Yeah.
Then the next planet we're going to be talking about is Jupiter and Jupiter is one of the two benefic planets. It's Venus is the other one. Jupiter is called the greater benefic. It is the big planet that I see a lot here in the northern hemisphere out at night. It's been coming out for and it's been out there for a while. So I've been seeing it. But there's the one aspect that it's going to majorly have this year is it's going to conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is the, you know, shocking things or innovative things or revolutionary things. So you can almost like just add those two words, like big and shocking, or generous and revolutionary. So that's the kind of energy we will be experiencing. This is going to happen around 21 degrees of Taurus. So if you have any planets on the fixed signs on 21 degrees of Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, or Aquarius, you might feel this particular conjunction when these two planets get together. It's going to be happening in your 9th house. And this is the house of the esoteric subjects, the publishing, legal matters as well. So this could be quite impactful in your 9th house when they do get together. This is the house of foreigners as well. So
yeah,
definitely a house to watch.
very interesting. And that's following on. We have an eclipse at, is it 8 April? That will be in Aries, but it's only like 3 weeks prior. And that's kind of a little bit of a shocking eclipse too, it sounds like. Not necessarily a negatively shocking eclipse, but yeah, it could be a lot of changes for a lot of people.
I think that's high energy period. Doesn't that seem like it's going to be like just like a lot of things are going to be moving?
Well, with Uranus too, it can be sudden, you know, sudden and quick. So it's like you're always doing this and then bang, now we're doing that. So yeah, it should be interesting. From the 25th of May, 2024, Jupiter will be entering Gemini. And for you, this will be in your 10th house, which is great. It's technically it's going to be in detriment, so it's not going to be as powerful as it could be. But look, Jupiter is still a benefic. It's in your 10th house of career and public reputation, so you can expect good things here. Jupiter's associated with luck, so yeah, you know, employees and bosses might be more inclined to look favorably on you. Maybe you do really well with big projects, or you know, maybe there's some honors or recognition or reward for you at this time. Yeah, so
Very cool. And then Jupiter's going to retrograde at 20 Gemini, 20 minutes on October 9th. And then it's going to station direct in Gemini. So it's not going to leave that sign. It's all going to happen in your 10th house. So and it's going to did I finish that? It's going to station direct in Gemini on February 4th. And the 10th house is the house where what you're known for. So this is where that's going to happen. This retrograde period might have some readdressing some issues
Yeah.
in your 10th house.
Yeah. With Jupiter, it's optimistic and enthusiastic and generous. When it's retrograde, sometimes you can kind of feel like your luck's kind of turned against you. So maybe you were riding high at work or whatever, public excuse me, public arena you were in. Maybe you were doing really well, and maybe there's a few setbacks and it's kind of taken a little bit of a shine off of it for you. Maybe you feel like, it's not going as easy as I thought, or it's not going as well as I thought, or maybe someone you were relying on can't help you at that time. But, it's retrograde every year. Everybody's going through it at the same time. Just write it out. Often the retrograde periods are beneficial in that you've got to review things, so you can often come out of it better. So,
especially with benefic as Jupiter is in the sky.
yes.
And the next planet we'll be talking about is Saturn. And Saturn is going to stay in Pisces. It went into Pisces early in 2020 or in 2023. And it's going to stay in Pisces throughout this entire year. And that's going to be in your 7th house. And the 7th house is the house of the other. Saturn is representative of things that it restricts. It wants you to make sure that you've done all the rules. It kind of it holds you back a little bit. So you're not going to be as out there as far as the other person. Like if you are trying to find the love of your life, this might hold you back just a little bit, and expect that. And so if it doesn't work, it's kind of what Saturn's asking you to do, is to hold back and look at things.
Yeah. For some people, maybe you finding being in a relationship just a little bit more restrictive than you thought or hoped for. Saturn will retrograde from the 29th of June until the 15th of November in Pisces, also in your 7th house of your closest one-on-one relationships. And it may not be a romantic partner. It may be a business partner, or it might be a very close friend. These are your closest one-on-one relationships. Maybe during that time, because when Saturn's retrograde, sometimes those limitations and restrictions can seem a little bit more insurmountable. They can seem a little bit more harder to overcome, or just a little bit more onerous. Excuse me. But maybe having to go over these things, if you're having issues with your partner and you're kind of like, well, I feel really restricted or limited by this, maybe by going over these things, discussing them, you may be able to come to some sort of compromise or agreement that going forward, you feel the stability of Saturn, but not the restriction as severely, hopefully.
Yeah. And I like how you have it all written down. June 29th and November 15th are the 2 days where Saturn's going to be retrograde. And those are the days where you're going to feel that restriction probably the most, about a week either side of those.
When it's stationing, yeah. Because when a planet stations, it appears to slow down to a stop. And, it's like, I often think of just cars, like if you think of the planets as cars, cars going past, yep, you kind of notice them, but if, there's a car parked outside your house for 3 or 4 days, you're going to notice it, or if you walk past a path every time and there's a car parked there for a couple of days, yeah, you're going to notice it. So,
and then the next planet that we will be talking about is Pluto, and Pluto is that energy of intensity. It's also the planet of transformation, and that planet of power. It makes the little things big and big things little. So this is the planet. It's going to stay in it's going to be it was in Aquarius in your 6th house from March 23rd to June 11th, and then when it went back into Capricorn. But it's doing that dance. It's trying to get from Aquarius to Capricorn, and it's going to stay in Aquarius. Once it moves into Aquarius, it's going to stay there. But it's doing that dance of trying to get you to move. Whatever was your Aquarius house is trying to get you to move. I'm sorry. Whatever was in your Capricorn house, you're trying to get rid of that and move into your Aquarius house.
Yeah. So Pluto re-enters Aquarius from the 20th of January 2024. As Donna said, it was there from the 23rd of March to the 11th of June 2023. So you may have had some inkling then of what you can expect going forward. But Pluto is not done with Capricorn. He's going to duck back from the 1st of September until the 19th of November 2024. So particularly for those with planets or natal chart points like your ascendant or MC at the very late degrees of Capricorn, but also the other cardinal signs. So Cancer, Aries, and Libra. You may be feeling that more than others, but yeah, Pluto's trying to wrap up Capricorn stuff, but once he re-enters Aquarius on the 19th of November, he's done with Capricorn, thankfully.
Yeah, and then it will stay in Aquarius until 2043. So we have 21 years to figure out what Pluto wants us to change in our house of Aquarius, or in your house of Aquarius. And so those are going to be the issues that it's working on before it goes into your 7th house in 2043. That's what I meant to say.
So yeah, so Pluto is going to be in the 6th house of illness, service to others, employees, pets, and those that work for us, or those that we work with. So those will be the issues where there's transformation, rebuilding, getting rid of what's not working, perhaps becoming obsessed by something. You're more likely to feel this if you have planets or chart points in that house in Aquarius, or opposite or square that. So that would be planets in Taurus, Leo, or Scorpio as well. And Pluto's felt more strongly when it's making aspects to personal planets, because it's in everybody's house. We're not all going through traumatic events constantly all the time, thankfully. It does tend to show up more when it is making a contact to a personal planet. But health issues may become a bit of an issue over the next 20 years, not necessarily traumatic or bad, but that may be a big theme over the next 20 years for a lot of Virgo risings, because it's one of the topics. But it could be pets, it could be employees, it could be those that you work with, or those that serve others like doctors, nurses, first responders, etc.
And then the eclipses, we're going to have 4 eclipses this year, and they come in sets of 2 for this year. Sometimes they come in sets of 3. And Linda and I did a episode on the eclipses, which I'm sure you will put a link to that episode in the description. And our first eclipse that we have is going to be a lunar eclipse, and that's going to be March 25th, 2024. It's going to happen at 5 degrees Libra, 7 minutes, and it's going to happen in your 2nd house. And lunar eclipses, lunar and solar eclipses lunar eclipses are where the solar eclipses are more external and can be felt. And the solar eclipse is going to happen on April 8th, 2024. And that's going to be at 19 degrees Aries, 24 minutes. And that's going to happen in your 8th house. And those happen on the axes of, the lunar and the solar eclipses happen on the axes of the houses that are opposite to each other. So the axis is going to be the 2nd and the 8th house. And Linda and we use Bernadette Brady's book, The Eagle and the Lark, almost as a eclipse Bible. It has all of the eclipses listed there and the references. When the eclipses start, they have a flavor to them, and that flavor lasts for every eclipse that happens on that Saros cycle. And do you have that information handy there, Linda?
Yeah, I do.
On what this Saros cycle means?
Yeah. So every 18 years, we have an eclipse in the same Saros cycle. So you may find that this eclipse has something to do with topics that occurred back in 2006, 1988, 1970, or 1952 even. There may be a linking to events happening, particularly if you do have planets around about 19 Aries, which is where the solar eclipse of 8 April will be. Bernadette's book says this Saros series is about inventiveness and flashes of genius. The individual will have intuitive leaps, insights, good ideas, visions, or vivid dreams. This newfound inspiration will pull the person away from his or her social life or relationship, thereby causing strain in the private life. This is a time when the person needs to be free, if only for a few weeks. And as this is happening over your 2nd and 8th house, this might be all about finances. The lunar eclipse is all about your personal finances and income, and the solar eclipse in April will be in your 8th house of shared finances and resources. And then on the 17th of September, we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So this will be the start of the Pisces Virgo eclipses. We're not finished with the Aries Libra ones, but sometimes there's an overlap between the nodes and where they are. And this is the first of the Pisces Virgo. It will be in your 7th house of your closest one-on-one relationships. So that's partners, whether that's business or romantic. And it's also close friends, or in the case of people that work closely with clients, it can include them. Lunar eclipses do tend to be about endings or culminations. Lunar eclipse happens on a full moon. A solar eclipse happens on a new moon when the nodes are very, very close to the new or full moon. But they tend to be like a new moon or a full moon on steroids. They can really change things dramatically. And in some cases, they can eclipse people in or out of your life. So you may find that with the 17th of September, maybe there's a big shakeup to do with some close personal one-on-one relationship.
And the Saros cycle that the solar eclipse is associated with for October 2nd, it has the flavor of separation and loss. This is from the Bernadette Brady's book on the Saros cycle 8. It has separation and loss, to be parted, to finish something, and to feel sad at its completion. Physical injury is also possible through overstraining one's strength. This is not the time to undertake strenuous physical activities. So you want to be careful around the eclipse times if you're a Virgo for around those times. And this again has the same, 18 years ago was that not 18 years ago, but the cycle showed up in 1952, 1970, 1988, 2006, and again this year. So that's the type of energy that you should be expecting.
Yep. That October solar eclipse that Donna was just talking about, that's the last of the Libra, but we will have one last Aries eclipse in March 2025. And just incidentally, too, that 8th of April eclipse, solar eclipse, for those particularly in the US, there was an eclipse on the 14th of April that went from the West Coast to the East Coast, the eclipse path where it could be seen. And this one on the 8th of April will be going from the East Coast to the West Coast. They actually meet in San Antonio. So lucky you guys, you get to see the eclipse. And but yeah, it's quite striking that you've got those two eclipse paths and that they're crossing. So it will be interesting to see if anything interesting in particularly around about San Antonio happens around about April 2024.
It will be. I've been very much trying to find information about this, because when any eclipse happens on a country, as it will say in the Linda and I did earlier, anytime a country is very impactful for that country. So this is very interesting to have like basically an X forming between the eclipses.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, some people believe that eclipses are more significant when you can actually see them. So, for example, these eclipses, neither of them, I believe, are visible in Australia. I'm not 100% sure about the October one, but I don't think it is. I know definitely that the April one isn't visible in Australia. So it may be more impactful for those in the eclipse path. That's generally how it's thought to be. But, you know, if you've got planets very close to the eclipse degree, you quite probably feel something.
This was very good for the Virgo risings. But what are you doing, and how can people get a hold of you?
I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. And I offer natal readings, relationship readings, and year ahead readings. So, Donna, where can people find you and what are you offering?
I offer year ahead readings, electional readings, natal readings, horary readings, and I also work with crystals for energy balancing for healing. So and you can get a hold of me at donnabastrology.com or donnabarconsulting@gmail.com.
Fantastic. So that's your 2024 for Virgo, or Virgo ascendants. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope that 2024 was kind to you. There's some challenging aspects in there, particularly with Mars in your 12th house and retrograding there, but you know, you're tough, you'll handle it. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, please do like and subscribe. We do go through each new and full moon during the year. We look at what's happening with that new or full moon, and we do the horoscopes for all the signs, as well as look ahead in the next 2 weeks for what's happening aspect wise with the planets. So if you enjoyed this, you would really enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.